everybody. Welcome to the Star City Blood Bowl League Round 5 update. We're going to go into a little bit of the Round 6 matchups, where the standings are, look a little bit at the playoffs, and just kind of look at what the last 3 rounds have for us in store for some Blood Bowl. So, I guess looking right at the standings, right now we have the MASH with 4 wins and a draw sitting at the top of that division, followed closely behind by the Sinister Storm, the Dark Elf team, with 3 wins, 2 draws. And then third and fourth right now, these would be our playoff spots if it all ended today. Our 2 dwarf teams, one being dwarves, one's chaos dwarves, both with 4 wins and a loss so far on the year. We have a couple teams that are not far behind, definitely within the playoff picture. The Valkyries, the Royal Family, Silver Strikers, Hushut's Chosen, the Green Slime Packers, and the South Lustrian Bullfrogs is the order in which those finish. Some teams got their first wins this past week. Both the Silver Strikers and Hushut's Chosen picked up their first win, whereas it looked like some have bounced back from their win. The Punching Stunties bounced back from their recent loss and grabbed a win this round. And one of the matches that everybody was anticipating, the MASH and the Sinister Storm, which was the 1 and 2 in this division, ended up in a 1-1 draw in this week's games. So, kind of looking at this from a playoff picture, we have 3 games left. That means that you could grab a maximum of 15 points. So, right now, there's only 6 points that separate 5th and 6th place from 4th. 9 points from the Silver Strikers in 4th place. And only 10 points from Hushut's Chosen in 4th place, and 12 for the Green Slime Packers in 4th place. So, if you're in these bottom rungs, if you can win your last 3 matches 2-0, or you need to win it shutting out your opponent and winning by at least 2 touchdowns. And we get some games up here where some of these players end up losing. It's very possible even the Green Slime Packers could make the playoffs as it goes on right now. The only team that's currently out, cannot make it because they're more than 15 points out from 4th place, is the South Lustrian Bullfrogs. They've just lost too many in a row, that there's just not enough games left for them to catch back up. They've been getting beat up pretty heavily with a -14 net casualty, as well as the Silver Strikers, but having 5 losses straight, that will eliminate the South Lustrian Bullfrogs from the playoffs for this year. So looking ahead at what we have in the next division, the Vermintide and the Stone Cold Stunners currently are tied with 17 points apiece, with a tiebreaker going to the Vermintide with their net touchdown differential. A new face in the top 4 is the Hungry Hibernators, who have broken into the top 4 with 3 wins in a row. And the same thing with the It's a Pack of Reptars, have also won 3 in a row to bring themselves into the playoff contention. First out, the K-Spring Crash have bounced out of the top 4 with a couple draws in their last few games. And with the other teams winning out, they've been pushed out of the top spots. And just kind of looking at this from, like I said, 15 points are left. What separates 4th from, any of the other positionals? Actually, any team at this point could make the playoffs if they win out all their games and get a couple losses on the other end from some other teams. The Shadow Goats could get 15 points, 16. That would be enough to push them up. They're going to still need a lot to make that happen, where they need the Hungry Hibernators to lose, or the Reptars to lose. But anything could still happen. That's one of the great things about this scoring method, is that you can be at the bottom and still not actually be all the way out. Currently, all of these teams have a playoff chance as it sits right now. So it's kind of where we're looking at right now. The Rat Pack got their first win this past week, while the Vermintide got dealt their first loss of the season. A couple other teams that were playing, mediocre well, ended up getting a loss recently. The Corpsetown Roughriders ended up with a loss. And kind of looking at net touchdowns right now, it looks like +8 for the MASH, +7 for the Grudge Bears and the Storm, +7 for the Vermintide. Everybody else looks less than that right now. So right now the MASH are heading that up. Casualties, we got +4 for the MASH, +9 for the Grudge Bearers. Let's see, who else is up there? That's pretty much it. So the Grudge Bearers right now are leading in casualties um, dealt so far. So that's kind of where the standings sit right now. We'll look a little bit at the honors. Team value wise, right now the Hushuts Chosen are top with team value with a 1410, followed closely by the Stone Cold Stunners, the Rooney Rat Pack, the MASH, and Vermintide, all just between 1300, 1365. And this is one of those things where I don't think we're going to hit the cap, but as these next 6 games, if you're in the playoffs, go through, teams may start to approach 1600, in which case they'll start getting close to that 1750 cap that we have on team value. Most fame right now, we only have one team that has 7 dedicated fans. That's the Stone Cold Stunners, which is the cap. A number of teams have 6, which is the MASH, K-Spring Crash, and the Reptars. The Sinister Storm still have 5. And then as far as most experience right now, the MASH have a total of 137 SPP accumulated thus far. 90 for the Hushuts Chosen, 83 for the Vermintide, 82 for the Hungry Hibernators, and 77 for the Grudge Bearers. Most scorer right now, there's 2 teams that have scored 11 touchdowns. That's the Vermintide and the Grudge Bearers. Best defense right now, still a 2-way tie between the MASH and the Sinister Storm, each allowing only 1 score so far in their 5 games. And then as far as most beast goes, we have a 3-way tie with 12 casualties between the Grudge Bears, the Royal Family, and the Punching Stunties. Most injured, 14 for the Bullfrogs. We have 12 for the Silver Strikers. And most deadly, the Rat Pack, the Royal Family, and the Punching Stunties have all caused 2 player deaths so far this season. Looking at best passing, there's a 2-way tie between the Silver Strikers and the Rooney Rat Pack, where they each have 6 completions so far. And they are double anybody else. Now on to the player stuff. The Patrick Mahomes current leader is Mario LaClaus at a 235,000 gold value. Most experienced player right now is Seraph Backbreak. He would be our Spike Magazine MVP if the season ended today. He's a Norse catcher for the Valor Valkyries. Most scorer, there's a 2-way tie between Mario LaClaus and Scatter with 7 apiece. Thorgrim Trollbane gained a little bit of ground in the most beast category as he hopped ahead of Krungo and T-Bone with 2 casualties ahead. Most injured right now was Florian Paris, the bodyguard for the Silver Strikers, who has been hurt 4 out of the last 5 games. And then most MVP goes to Brick Toshe and Seraph Backbreak, each with 3 MVPs in their games. And as mentioned, the Rooney Rat Pack and the Silver Strikers each have good passers. Vincent, which is an Imperial Nobility thrower, and Sir Radigan, the thrower for the Skaven, leading with 6 apiece. So kind of looking at what we have coming up, we have a match between the Silver Strikers and the Grudge Bearers. The Silver Strikers are healthy for the first time, maybe ever, where they actually have all of their players. Let's see, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They'll have a bench player. Still no Apothecary, just 2 rerolls, which I think hurts them more often than not. A couple Ningling injuries that are going to be a pain if those get knocked down. And then let's look here. We have pretty standard.
And now
board
here's
team,
a word from
Mighty
our
Blow,
sponsor.
Guard, Block, Fend, Runner, a Block Wrestle Runner. I think that's a random. So a number of players that are, and they're only rolling 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So no bench for the Grudge Bears. They're sitting with 160 gold pieces and 4 rerolls and an Apothecary. So there's not much else they're wanting to buy unless they end up grabbing up a Death Roller or something. And so this game right here, I think this one's just going to be too much for the Silver Strikers to handle. They could get into some good positioning where they're able to use their stand firm, wrestle to an advantage to keep the dwarves on the ground. But I think it's going to be just too much guard. They're not going to be able to get good 2-die blocks. Unless they start breaking some dwarf armor, it's probably going to be a game where the Iron City Grudge Bears win this one. I'm going to say 1-0 right here. I don't think they're going to win huge because I feel like they're going to get knocked down enough that moving the ball is going to be difficult as they get wrestled to the ground. Um, but it will be something where I think the Grudge Barrels will pull that one out. Looking at the Green Slime Packers and the Lustrian Bullfrogs, this is where the Green Slime Packers are missing a Pestigore, so they only have 2 competent ball carriers. They do have all their big guys. They do have block finned claws, which doesn't have a lot of effect on the catchers, but it will affect the linemen and the blitzers. And then those tentacles will really be a pain for the catchers to try and get away. So I think that if the Green Slime Packers play this one right, I think they can win this one. I'm going to go with 2-1. I think the Bullfrogs are still going to get in a score maybe real early on, but the Packers are going to be able to get a couple back-to-back coming in and take that one there. Hashut's Chosen and the Valor Valkyries. This is going to be a good match. Lots of guard, lots of mighty blow, sure hands, block, break, tackle, Thrak Bull's able to play, sloths in the game. There's some block hobgoblins for Hashut's versus the Valor Valkyries that are sitting at around 1200, so they're going to give up. They're missing an Ulfwerener, they're missing a Norse lineman. They do have a Blodge sidestep catch, Seraph backbreak, who's been very difficult to stop for teams so far, but I think the tackle from Hashut's Chosen is going to get ahead of them. Helga the Jotun could do some damage with their claws mighty blow, but without block, it's going to be very hard to pull that off. I'd imagine Helga gets hurt pretty quickly out of the match. Not a lot of other skill ups in this one, so I'm going to say this one's going to go actually 2-0 to Hashut's Chosen. I think there's just going to be too much for the Valkyries to handle at this point in the season. All right, punching Stunties in the mash. So punching Stunties missing their enslaved Minotaur, which is a big hurt to deal with some of the flesh golems that are the stand firm block guys. Let's see, how much guard do they have? 2 guard. That's really it. So they have block, 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 block. Lots of block, obviously. Everybody's got block. Pig Splatter is going to be able to play with a block mighty blow. Bull Centaur, and then Stampede will also play. And then the Mash are back and healthy, I think. Yep, everybody comes back. I don't remember hurting anybody, so they'll have both their werewolves, Evgeny stalking. Both their guard flesh golems are going to be a real pain, and the sidestep race will also be a really pain, and with their foul appearance and stuff. I actually think that the Mash look like a better team on paper right now. I think their claws could work out some of the dwarves. This foul appearance is going to bust them a couple times on some blitzes. Missing their Minotaur is going to hurt. And then these guard here are going to be a really pain to get 2-die blocks on. They'll probably have to start either taking 1-dies or 2-die uphills, which I don't think they really want to do, but they're going to need a couple of them to work. And with their high armor, they're not likely to take them off the field. I'm actually going to say this one's going to go 2-1 with the Mash winning this one in this match. And then Sinister Storm against the Royal Family. The Dark Elves are mostly healthy. They have 1 lineman out. They recently have a Blodge sidestep Witch Elf. Bunch of Blodge all over the place. Block dodge runner as well against a somewhat hurt. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they bought a new Saurus, so they're going to have a full healthy Saurus lineup with a Croxagore. Just 3 skinks right now, so they'll get a couple of, let's see, that'd be 7, 8, 9, 10. They'll get 1. So they're only going to have 4 ball carriers, really. So I would imagine that the Dark Elves are going to do their best to hurt those 4 skinks as quickly as possible. And then from then on, that's probably about it. No matter how much damage the Royal Family can do, they probably can't move the ball as well. Still just 10,000 gold, so no extra money to spend. They're at 1,200 against, like I say, 1,270. They may get a babe or something to help them out. Actually, they'll get 100, so they might get a apothecary. Probably what I would take, but or a reroll. I don't know what they want more, but there will be some options there. I think this one's just going to be there's no tackle that I can see. I think it's going to be too much for the Royal Family to handle. I think the Sinister Storm is going to come away with this one 2-0 in the match. The Grim Moor Maulergas against the Cave Spring Crash. The Maulergas have 2 Blodging Ghouls, 2 Guard Mummies, and a Sure Hands Ghoul down here. One of them's hurt pretty bad, but he's got Blodge on a random, so it's hard to get rid of him. And so 1265 for them versus the Cave Spring Crash, which are sitting at 1110. Still not going to be able to get a lot. Actually, it's the Cave Spring Crash look like they're skilled up a little healthier. They're just goblins. That's the main thing. Couple diving catch guys, which is unfortunate. Fanatic, Chainsaw, Looney, all the secret weapons still are unskilled at this point. Very hard, it looks like, to get them MVPs or anything. And so sitting at 290,000, though, I mean, they could, ideally, if they wanted to, they could induce Morg or some big star, maybe Hackflim, to give them an advantage to win that game. I'm going to say this one will go to, I'm going to say this one's going to be a 1-1 draw. I don't think anybody's going to win it. I think each of them will get them once. It'll be a 1-1 draw. Corn Dogs against the Rooney Rat Pack. Corn Dogs missing a Bloodseeker. Got 4 block guys. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still going to need a journeyman, so they're going to be about 1,300, 1,365. They're going to get a babe. Man, I just don't see them being able to take this team's speed off the field. Rat Ogres there, unskilled. I think they could do it. I think if they can get ahead and actually get the pals to knock down these, the pals are both downs on their blockers in order to knock down these gutter runners and hurt them. They could probably do something pretty good with it. Kick's gonna hurt them a lot. I say this one's gonna be 2-1. Corn Dogs are gonna score. Rat Packs can just be too fast to get in there. Looking at the Vermintide, the Corpsetown Roughriders, the Vermintide missing their block tackle guy. Still got Scatter, he's healthy. A couple messed up guys. Splinter Spine is going to be able to play against a pretty healthy Necro team. Both werewolves. None of them have great skills. Couple Sure Hands Ghouls. No strip ball anyway. I think this one's going to be 2-0 with the Vermintide taking this one here. Shadow Goats and the Stunners. This is Chaos Chosen on Chaos Chosen. Shadow Goats have just not gotten going as well as they had hoped. Still just Lord Crix, Viscera, who came from the Stunners Sevens team back in the day. Grog Bloodstool maybe also came from there as well with a guard. Nothing super remarkable there for their team. They got sitting on 235K against a 1365. They could get Morg. They could get Hackflim too. Either of those would probably be decent picks for them if they knew how to use them. Well, probably wouldn't take Hackflim. Probably go Morg. Just for the Mighty Blow +2. You could take Lord Borak, I guess, too. Lord Borak may be a good one to get you essentially a half a reroll plus some dirty player sneaky get. You wouldn't get ejected unless you actually hurt somebody. And you can start fouling some dudes off the field. Like I said, 7 dedicated fans, so you're going to get some money. But I think it's probably going to be too much either way for the Stone Cold Stunners. They're gonna come away with I'm gonna say a 2-0 right here, 2-0. It might even be a 3-0 to be honest. Oh, I'm at the wrong area here. And then the last game is the Hungry Hibernators against the it's a pack of reptars. Hibernators all healthy, looking good. Won the last couple games. They do have some busted up agility dudes. Not a big deal. This guy right here, I'd probably fire and replace O'Hart because he's got no SPP. You got the money. I'd probably just fire and replace them. You know, Arthur, you could keep him with what he is. Trying to think who else. I think that's about it right now. All the positionals, both the berserkers are in. Just have to mind the frenzy a little bit. They're on the cusp of getting a handful of um, skill ups. You know, a couple CAS for 3 different guys, and all of a sudden they got 3 more skills. Um, and so this team 1270, it's a pack of reptars missing their Croxagore. That's gonna hurt. 3, 6, all of their blockers, 5 linemen, just 11 dudes. Who's gonna win this one? They took both chameleon skinks, which is interesting. I'm actually going to give this one to the hibernators. I think they're going to come away with a 2-1 victory over the reptars in this match. So there you have it. That's pretty much it for this round. Round 6 is coming up. We also have Big Lick Brawl is in just a couple weeks, and people are starting to get in some practice games. Give me your roster once you decide. You need to get with your partner and let me know your team name for your specific team, but also your squad name with you and your partner. It'll just be more fun that way if I get to announce you by your squad name rather than group 7, group 8, etc. Um, that being said, that's about it. So 3 weeks left. We're gonna look to do a cookout probably in May or June. Just kind of an end of the year cookout, celebrate everybody's season, and then looking forward. Maybe we start another season of something in later this summer. Um, and I guess the verdict is out whether we do a variant like sevens or if we just go straight back into regular Blood Bowl and just start season 7. So interested to hear what people think. If you get around to give me your opinion, I'd like to hear it. We've talked about human leagues. We've talked about, a league that is all just favored of teams, a league that is all just, Badlands Brawl, etc. Um, just try and mix it up and see how that goes. But anyways, that's it. Everybody enjoy your week. Have a great set of games, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.